Hey everyone, welcome to Billion Stories. For a person, marriage is a very important stage in his or her life. If people who don't know each other or have different minds or mindsets get married, it may soon lead to divorce. If the marriage relationship is to last for a long time, it is necessary to understand each other and gain mutual trust and respect. Starting a business is like that. There is no greater stupidity than entering an industry and doing business without knowing or understanding anything. Therefore, there are some basic things that everyone should know and understand before starting a business. Here are the 7 things to do before starting your own business. Number 1. Do your research and make sure you understand the industry inside and out. When starting a new business, it's essential to do your research and ensure you understand the industry inside and out. That way, you can make informed decisions about your target market, product offerings, and pricing. You'll also be better equipped to deal with many challenges. So take the time to learn as much as you can about your industry and don't be afraid to ask for help from others who are more experienced. You can set yourself up for success in your new business venture with a little effort. You may wonder where to start if you want to get your business off the ground or take it to the next level. Of course, you could try to do everything yourself, but that's often overwhelming and can lead to mistakes. A better option is to hire a business consultant. Business consultants can help you with everything from developing a business plan to marketing your product or service. They have the experience and knowledge necessary to help your business succeed. There are many different business consultants, so you need to choose one that's right for your company. Some specialize in a specific industry or type of business, while others offer a broader range of services. Finding a consultant who understands your business and can provide the guidance you need is essential. Don't be afraid to ask for references or talk to other companies that have worked with the consultant you're considering. So, research is the first and significant step in starting a business. You need to know your industry, your competition, and what potential customers want. If you don't research, your business will likely fail. So, before you even think about starting a business, do your homework. Number 2. How much money do you have to invest? Starting a business can be expensive, but it doesn't have to be. In fact, you can create a small business with very little money if you're creative and resourceful. How much money you'll need to get started? No one ever said starting your own business would be easy or cheap, for that matter. But how much money do you actually need to get started? Depending on the type of business, the answer varies. Here are some ballpark figures to help you get started. Starting a small trading business, you'll need at least $10,000 for inventory, office supplies, and other startup costs. But if you're planning on renting office space or hiring employees, that number goes up significantly. In fact, most businesses will need at least $50,000 to get started. Of course, these are just estimates. Your specific costs will depend on the type of business you're starting and your region of the country. How much money will you need to keep the business going? Starting your own business is a brave decision that could lead to great success. But before you take the plunge, it's essential to ask yourself one question: how much money do you need to keep the business going? There's no easy answer, but it's crucial to have a realistic idea of how much cash you'll need on hand to cover your costs. Start by estimating your monthly expenses, including overhead costs like rent and utilities, employee salaries, and other operating expenses. Then, factor in some cushion for unexpected costs or slow months. The more money you can save up in advance, the easier it will be to keep your business afloat during its early years. Of course, there are also ways to raise money as needed, but it's always best to start with as much financial stability as possible. How will you fund your business? Starting a business can be an expensive endeavor. There are many things to consider when it comes to funding your company, such as what type of business you want to start, what licenses and permits you need, and how much money you will need to get your business up and running. There are a few different ways to fund your business. You can use your own personal savings, take out a loan from a bank or another lending institution, or try to attract investors. Each option has its pros and cons, so it's vital to do your research and decide which route is best for you and your company. If you have enough money saved up, using your own funds may be the best option for you. This allows you to avoid additional debt and more control over your business. Here are some tips for starting a business on a shoestring budget. Start small. You don't need a lot of money to start a small business. In fact, many small businesses can be created with just a few $100s. Use your talents and skills. If you have skills and talents that you can use to generate income, start a business based on those skills. Network with other entrepreneurs. There's no need to go it alone when starting a business. Seek out other entrepreneurs in your area and collaborate with them. Be frugal. Don't spend money unnecessarily when starting your business. Don't be too ambitious. Remember, your first goal is to gain enough experience to generate a good idea for a business. Maintain a positive attitude. If you have a negative attitude, chances are you won't succeed in starting your own business. Don't be afraid to fail. In fact, failure is one of the best things that could happen to you in your business. Keep the dream alive. Believe in yourself and your ideas, no matter what others think or say. Number 3. What are the risks involved? Every business has risks, so make sure you're aware of what could go wrong and have a plan for dealing with setbacks. What are the risks involved in the selected business model? When starting a business, one of the first decisions is what type of business to create. This decision can be based on several factors, including the amount of risk you're willing to take, your skills and experience, and the profit potential. There are many different business models to choose from, each with its own risks. One standard business model is the franchise. Franchises offer a well-known brand name and a proven business model, but they can be expensive to purchase and may require ongoing royalties payments. Another option is to start a small business from scratch. This option has a lower initial cost but carries greater risk because there is no guarantee that the business will succeed. A third option is to buy an existing business. Each of these business models has a different level of startup costs. Franchises, for example, are typically more expensive than small businesses that have been in operation for a long time. When buying an existing business, the cost is often the most prominent factor. Competition of the business. The business world is filled with competition. Whether a small business or a large corporation, you are always competing for customers and market share. To be successful in the business world, you need to be able to compete and win. There are many ways to compete in the business world. You can compete on price, quality, or on service. You can also compete by developing new products or services or expanding into new markets. Whatever strategy you choose, you need to be able to execute it well and beat your competitors. Competing in the business world is not easy, but it can be rewarding if you are successful. The key is to always focus on your customers and on what they want and need. Financial effect of natural calamities on the business. Disasters, both natural and man-made, have always been a part of the business world. Businesses can fall victim to fires, floods, hurricanes, earthquakes, and acts of God. Disasters can also be caused by human error, such as industrial accidents or terrorist attacks. In the aftermath of a disaster, businesses must assess the damage and determine how to resume operations. They may need to relocate or rebuild their facilities. They may also need to obtain new equipment or supplies. Sometimes, they may need to lay off employees or file for bankruptcy. For small businesses, this can be a devastating event that requires quick action to minimize the losses. There are more resources available for larger businesses, but the same principles apply. How to face natural calamities in the business. Here are some tips for facing natural disasters in business. Have an emergency plan in place. This should include contact information for key personnel, instructions for safeguarding property and employees, and a list of suppliers and other essential contacts. Make sure you have insurance coverage for natural disasters. Review your policy to ensure you are fully protected against losses incurred due to a disaster. Stay connected with other businesses in your area. If you must evacuate, ensure you have enough time to get back on your feet and take care of necessary business activities. Make sure your employees are prepared for the worst and know what they should do in an emergency. Number 4. Legal. What are the legal steps you need to take? What are the legal steps you need to take before starting a business? Starting a business can be an exciting prospect, but it's essential to understand the legal steps you need to take before starting your business. To protect yourself and your business, you'll need to register your company with the state, get a business license, and create a written business plan. You may also need to register your trademark and set up a bank account in the name of your business. By taking these initial steps, you'll be able to establish and protect your brand while ensuring that your business is operating by state and federal law. You also consider the following: cost of business registration, cost of business license, cost of business license renewal per year, etc. Number 5. What are your goals for the business? When starting a business, it is vital to have specific goals. This will help you stay focused and organized, as well as determine whether the business is successful or not. Some plans that should be considered are profit maximization, market share, customer satisfaction, and innovation. Profit maximization is the number one goal for most businesses. The goal is to make as much money as possible while keeping costs low. This can be done by increasing sales and minimizing expenses. Market share is another crucial goal for businesses. It refers to the percentage of the total market that a company controls. Again, this can be measured in terms of revenue or units sold. Customer satisfaction is also a key goal for businesses. Satisfied customers will likely return or recommend your business to others. Finally, innovation is a crucial goal for businesses. It refers to new products or services that are created by the company. A business should also consider an individual's number one goal, happiness. Number 6. Marketing. How will you attract customers? Starting a business is not an easy task. It requires a lot of planning and effort to be successful. One of the most important aspects of starting a business is attracting customers. Without customers, your business will not survive. However, there is one thing you need to consider before starting a business to attract customers. You need to have a clear understanding of your target market. Who are you marketing your product or service to? Once you know your target market, you can design marketing strategies specifically for them. You also need to understand what your competitors are doing well. What products or services do they offer, and how do they market them? By knowing your competition, you can develop ideas to differentiate your product or service from theirs and attract more customers. So, remember that you are doing business not for you, it is for your customers. How to market your business. First, you can use your own saved money for marketing. If you don't have that, get your budget approved by the bank. Then, you can start planning how to advertise and publicize it. Start small and then expand it. Where to promote your business. You can promote your business through social media or word of mouth. You can also advertise in the local newspaper and on television channels. There are many ways to promote your business, and it is up to you how you choose to do it. Campaigns to promote your business are essential. There are many campaigns that you can plan for your business. You can also advertise as much as you can on the internet. Number 7. What are your strengths and weaknesses as a business owner? Becoming successful in business takes a lot of hard work, dedication, and planning. Therefore, before starting your own business, you should consider your strengths and weaknesses as a business owner. Here are some things to think about. Are you good at sales? Do you have experience in marketing or accounting? You will need these crucial skills to succeed as a business owner. Are you good at managing people? Do you have the time and resources to manage a team? As the boss, your responsibility will be to ensure everything runs smoothly. Do you have the financial resources to start and sustain a business? Businesses require a lot of money upfront, from inventory to marketing materials to employee salaries. Make sure you have enough saved up to cover these costs. Are you comfortable taking risks? Then, think about what you are risking. What if your idea fails? What if you can't find a buyer? What if the public doesn't like it? These are all valid questions, and you must ensure you are comfortable with these risks. Do I know enough about how the industry works? This is a big one, especially in the early stages of your business idea. Is there enough information available about the industry? You need to know what makes it tick, or you will be at a disadvantage when you enter this market. Am I aware of the industry's best practices? How can you know what works and what doesn't if you haven't looked at it? What do I know about the potential customers? This is a great question. First, do they exist? If they don't, then your business idea is not viable. How will I make my products and services unique? This is the big question. First, people are more likely to pay for a product or service different from what they have. Second, what makes you different? Do you have a good idea that is not being done by others? Third, do your customers want what you are offering? If they don't, you need to ask why they would like it. What challenges does my business solve? First, you must ask yourself about each of the 3 areas. If you can't answer these questions, you shouldn't be doing business in that area. So, knowing your strengths and weaknesses is very important before starting a business. It is one of the most significant deciding factors of your business success. In conclusion, starting a business is a big decision that should not be taken lightly. However, considering all 7 above-mentioned factors is essential before making a final decision. Taking these into account can increase your chances of starting a successful business. I hope you found this video useful and informative. Please give us a thumbs up and be sure to subscribe because more incredible content is on the way. Thanks for watching.